getting a little bit of here the month of September, not nearly as high. Anderson, and it's been all West Side tonight. Cutter Woods having a big night, apparently throwing the football for side, and following Todd Shaughnessy of the Greenville News, the Spartanburg Herald Journal, and the Anderson paper, all up there in the upstate. And it's a West Side 56-20 score over TL Hanna. So West Side on their way to a lopsided, impressive win over their crosstown rivals. How about that? West Side 56, TL Hanna 20. They're playing in the fourth quarter of that ball game. I don't have any stats to 21. Jeff. With a 28-7 win over Latta tonight. In the third quarter, Allendale Fairfax and Great Falls, they're tied up at 6-6. Williston Elko defeats Calhoun Falls. Final score there, 30-0. Marlboro County, this was a second quarter score. Marlboro County was leading Scotland County, Laurinburg, North Carolina, 21-7. At the half, Loris on top of South Columbus of North Carolina, 28-0. Third quarter, Georgetown leading Johnsonville 21-18. In the third quarter, it's Keenan 26, Battery Creek nothing. In the third quarter, East Clarendon 28, Hardyville 7. Woodland big over Bethune-Bowman tonight, 42-0. In the third quarter, Timberland on top of Cross, 43-14. Andrews with a big lead on Carvers Bay in the fourth quarter, 34-6. In the fourth quarter, Hampton County 14, Silver Bluff 7. Also in the fourth quarter, Barnwell leading Bamberg Earhart 21-7. Fourth quarter score, Lee Central 33, Chesterfield 28. Hageland Central leading Lamar in the fourth quarter 32-25. Highland Tech out of Gastonia, North Carolina defeated 8-7. It was Fairfield Central over Seattle quarter, 52-0. Greenwood Christian with a 42-0 win over Eau Claire tonight. In the fourth quarter, North Central leading Columbia 33-8. In the third quarter, Mountain View Prep 35, St. Joseph's 14. In the fourth quarter, Blackville Hilda 34, 96-29. How about this one in the fourth quarter? Batesburg, Leesville. A battle of Panthers, and Batesburg, Leesville is on top of Abbeville 37-35. That's a fourth quarter score. BL leading the Big A 37-35. Landrum, third quarter score on Ware Shoals 41-20. Landrum leading Ware Shoals. Clinton defeats Newberry. First loss for the Bulldogs. And Clinton gets the win. Rivalry game here. 23-14 for the Red Devils. In the fourth quarter, fourth quarter, Chesney on top of Walhalla, 25-13. Third quarter, Blacksburg, big on Cherryville of North Carolina, 42-6. West Florence had leading, or still is ongoing, leading Chester 21-14. Catawba Ridge on Chester 21-14 third quarter. In the fourth quarter, May River 41, Lake City 6. Also in the fourth quarter, Philip Simmons leading Buford 31-20. Dillon shuts out Wilson 22-0. Third quarter, Lower Richland on top of Colleton County 21-12. Also in the third quarter, it's Airport 9, Orangeburg Wilkinson 8. In the third quarter, York 42, Union County 14. Continuing with scores tonight. A final, Richland Northeast.
Can you give me your name again?
Defeats Westwood 25-0.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. We'll get you on as soon as possible.
21-13. The Louisville and AC Florida game, it says here, was canceled tonight. Seneca in the third quarter, 35, West Oak nothing. Pickens defeats Liberty 38-34. In the fourth quarter, Blue Ridge with a 42-36 lead on Polk County of North Carolina. In the third quarter, Southside 24, Dixie 14. Final, Belton Honeypath 55, Lawrence 6. Another final, Woodruff big over Emerald 62-35. White Knoll defeats Brooklyn Casey 49-19. Another final, Easley over Wade Hampton 41-14. In the fourth quarter, Sumter with a 42-25 lead on Myrtle Beach. Lucy Beckham defeated St. James tonight 48-17. Spartanburg Downing
High school scoreboard show. What's your name?
47-6. The final, Socastee with the 23-8 road win over Aner tonight. And Rock Hill knocks off Lancaster, final score of 32-20.
Awesome, Billy. We'll get you on as soon as possible.
How about this one? Northwestern, looking very, very strong, defeats South Florence 48-7. That game played up in Rock Hill. Big win for the Trojans over the Bruins, 48-7. In the third quarter, River Bluff 35, Nation Ford 24. Lexington has downed Midland Valley. Final score of 25-14. Goose Creek, fourth quarter score, leading James Island 7-3. Third quarter score, Gaffney all over Greenville High, 48-7. Also fourth quarter, Fort Dorchester leading Stratford 26-24. Dutch Fork, no trouble with Ridgeview tonight, 38-0. Final score for the Silver Foxes. And Dorman in the fourth quarter leading at Greenwood 20-7.
Billy Baker is hot.
Conway with a win over Sharon tonight, final score of 20-16. And Clover in the fourth quarter leading Palisades of Charlotte. Final score there is 41-12 in the fourth quarter. Third quarter score, Chapin 49, Spring Valley 7. Huff of North Carolina.
That's
All
what
over
we're showing you
Carolina
the game
Forest.
from.
Final there, 41-0. West Ashley in the fourth quarter, leading
All right,
Cane
awesome,
Bay
Bill. Get you on as soon as possible.
35-6. Boiling Springs defeats Chapman 52-7. Lightwood knocks off Fort Mill 23-7. In the fourth quarter, Somerville leading Berkeley 41-28. In the fourth quarter, Ashley Ridge over Wando 56-17. In the fourth quarter, Woodmont 34, Pendleton 19. A final J.O. Man over Daniel. J.O. Man beats Daniel 28-23. In the fourth quarter, Hillcrest on top of Greer 28-14. Fourth quarter, Savannah Country Day leading Bluffton 37-16. In the final, Savannah Christian defeats Oceanside Collegiate 44-20. And that does it for the scores from tonight thus far. Lots of games. Seems like we have a lot of games tonight. Okay, let's go to Billy Baker. I think we have a hot call. Billy Baker joining us from out in the fields tonight. Billy, welcome in to the High School Sports Report.
Hello, Phil. I'm in Barnwell, where Barnwell has defeated Bamberg Earhart tonight, 41-7. But it was a 7-7 score at the half, and Bamberg missed about a 22-yard field goal as time expired. Went under the goalpost by about a yard. They might have had the lead. Bamberg readjusted, and it's a wet field here in Bamberg tonight. They went to power football. The scoring summary was, in the first quarter, Cameron Austin scored on a 1-yard run. Lane Evans, who flipped the field a lot tonight, kicking game was very much in Barnwell's favor. He kicked a punt to the 1-yard line that really, really boxed in Bamberg late in the game. Bamberg came back and tied the score. Crosby, the outstanding quarterback, 46-yard touchdown pass to Akeem Walker. PAT was 7-7, and that's how the half ended. In the second half, after about a 41-yard unbelievable quarterback scamper by Cam Austin, who's a South baseball wedge, he kicked his knee a little bit. He came back in the game, but they went with Wildcat a lot with a senior running back, Jaquan Peoples, and he ran the ball like 7 or 8 straight times. He scored on a 1-yard run and a 6-yard run in the second half, and it's Barnwell goes to 3-0. Now, Brian Smith is the head coach at Barnwell, but his son is a college coach in Tennessee, and Brian Smith left this game 2 minutes and 3 seconds after the clock hit 0. He is driving to Tennessee. So, defensive coordinator Isaac Cooper from Barnwell, who's headed up a fantastic defense, will join you to tell you about the game. Here's Isaac Cooper, outstanding coach at Barnwell High School.
Very good. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Phil.
Coach, how are you, sir? Congratulations.
I'm good, thank you.
Tell us about the game from your viewpoint. We got the details from Billy. It was a thriller. It was a hard-earned win. But what'd you see from your guys?
From our guys, I mean, they were flying around the ball. I mean, we had some mishaps of lining up wrong early on in the game. That caused us 7 points going into the half. Just lined up on the wrong receiver, and guys just run completely wide open down the field. We got those adjustments at halftime. Come back out, got in the situations, got into where we needed to line up faster. And that seemed to get them rolling. Still had kids flying around to the balls, making plays. That's just really what we did with getting at halftime, getting them calmed down, make sure we lined up so they were going hurry. Just making sure and re-emphasizing them. Like, guys, we do this every single day at practice. Like, we know what to do. Like, this is our favorite formation to line up to. It should be a no-brainer to them. And just getting that reiterated back in their head and telling them that we were fine and what we were doing.
Yeah. And to hold them to 7 points like you did, even though it was a very competitive game, you hold them to 7 points. And your defense, what did you have them cued in on in dealing with that offense?
dealing with that offense, we had a lot of, as far as practice-wise, we demand a lot from our players, me and especially all my assistant coaches. We have a lot that goes on with our Lex Thomas, who is our middle linebacker. He gets us lined up strength-wise. He makes all the calls. He gives our line the call we're running, and then in the back end, DeMonte, DeVoe, and William Robson, aka Polish. We get
That's a scoreboard show. What's your name? What game you calling from?
Make sure we're okay in the back end, and make sure everybody.
All right, awesome. We will get you on as soon as possible.
But the biggest thing was for us defensively was Lane Evans being able to punt the ball and be able to put it in perspective where we would be able to make a stop. I mean, we downed it one time on the 1 yard line down by the scoreboard. Not many teams can do that, and that helped us. I mean, they had to drive 99 yards down the field to score, and that helps out the defense a lot. His kickoffs, pooch kicks, and all that would help us out a lot, gave us great field position, but that also helps us with our special teams as well, of how well our boys are trained and practice every day. Like, this is special teams is just not a play off. It's to run down there, make a play, and really for us, that's the first play of defense. Is punt and kickoff is the first play of defense for us. So we like to have a lot of our guys defense on there to go down there and make a statement out the gate. Yeah,
that makes sense. Well put. Coach, thank you very much. Congratulations on the victory tonight. Good luck to you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, yes, sir. Coach Isaac Cooper, defensive coordinator over at Barnwell. I'm hearing from a friend of mine that they might be looking at consolidation in Barnwell County and just having a Barnwell County high school in a few years, something that apparently the people there in the school board arena are kicking around talking about. Or it might even be a little bit more down the road than that. So the days of multiple high schools in Barnwell County may be coming to an end in the near future. Thank you, Billy Baker. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. We got to run to our first break tonight. We'll come back to more reports, get some more final scores in for you. Just saw where the Camden-Hartsville game has gone final. Camden gets that win at Zimp Stadium in Camden over Hartsville. I think this is the state's oldest rivalry, if I'm not mistaken. And Camden beat Hartsville tonight 22-14. And we're back after this break.
In a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field, from tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef, it's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
We are back on the high school football scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Great to have you with us on this Friday night. Let's quickly get back out to reporters covering games for us tonight. We've got a story on the Crestwood game tonight, and Taylor is joining us with that report on Crestwood. Taylor, how you doing?
This is my first report calling in. Thanks.
Yeah, man. What you got?
Crestwood had a little struggles on offense. They were up 13-0 at halftime, and King Street came out in the second half, coughed up the football 4 or 5 times, and gave it right to the Crestwood Knights in plus territory, and they punched it in with a couple touchdowns from Damian Belton and Calvin Wolford and Jordan Minkins. So little jet sweep there with Minkins, and they were up 47-0 and laid it to the Trailblazers from King Street.
That's a nice win for Crestwood, and they got the shutout defensively, so they must have played some very strong defense as well tonight.
Yes, sir. They did a lot of stops on defense, a lot of forced punts. King Street had a lot of trouble moving the ball, even past midfield at times. So Crestwood did a really good job, and the fumble recoveries obviously helped the Knights when they were in plus territory. So tough matchup next week against Sumter coming in. We're looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, how's this Crestwood team looked overall to you? How was Coach Nelson's team looked in general to you?
They've looked solid, Phil, and another thing, they've kind of switched up the quarterbacks. They started Jadis Williams to begin the year, but have put in Travis Benefield, and they put Jadis at receiver tonight, which is kind of a move that I didn't see coming, and Benefield connected him on a long pass play to Jadis, so we might see that connection coming in a couple weeks. We've got some big O linemen and D linemen. I don't know how it's going to fare against the Sumter, which is obviously very physical next week.
Yeah, no doubt. They got a big one tonight. Pronounce your last name for us so we can fully identify you as the new play-by-play voice over there at Crestwood for our community broadcasters group that's doing all those games.
Taylor Novinger, Novingr. Novinger.
Not hard. That's right. Yeah, JP was having an issue writing it down. Wanted to make sure we got it right. So, Taylor, it's good talking to you. We'll look for you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much. All right, Taylor Novinger, play-by-play for Crestwood. Crestwood picks up the win tonight, and they've got that big showdown, as we mentioned, with Sumter. And Sumter, I think that game has gone final. If not, it's pretty close. Sumter was beating Myrtle Beach pretty soundly, so they're on their way to a victory. South Point, big tonight over Ballantine Ridge of North Carolina, 63-0. Airport has beaten Orangeburg Wilkinson 9-8. Just gotten a score in that Johnsonville beat Georgetown 24-21. Johnsonville over Georgetown 24-21. Dillon shuts out Wilson 22-0. Philip Simmons, a winner over Beaufort 31-20. Bishop England has knocked off Hanahan 24-14. May River tops Lake City 41-6. That final score. Irmo over Butler of North Carolina 35-34. West Brunswick of North Carolina defeats North Myrtle Beach 32-27. West Florence big over Marion 47-0. Blacksburg 42. Cherryville, North Carolina 6. Chesney 25. Walhalla 13. Clinton 23-14 over Newberry. In the fourth quarter, this should be late. Landrum 54. Ware Shoals 26. And it's a final now. Batesburg-Leesville has beaten Abbeville 37-35. Surprising result there. Back in a moment.
To recap, number 1, customize and save. Number 2, time allowing. Save me. Shoulders separating.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
With SRN News, I'm Tasha Stevens. The suspect in the Georgia school shooting and his father are not entering pleas to the charges against them. In a court appearance Friday, the judge told the 14-year-old accused shooter he could face life without parole. His father, Colin Gray, appeared in court shortly after to be arraigned on multiple charges, including second-degree murder. Prosecutors say the teen killed 4 people and injured 9 others at Appalachia High School. Former Vice President Dick Cheney says he will vote for Kamala Harris over former President Trump. The former VP and career politician said Trump, quote, can never be trusted with power again, end quote. Former President Trump responded by saying both Dick and his daughter Liz Cheney are irrelevant and, quote, Republican in name only, end quote, also referred to as rhinos among true conservatives. This is SRN News.
This is Ian with AccuClean. With fall quickly approaching, AccuClean knows that it can be all too easy for kids and pets to track in mud, grass, and leaves. Luckily, we know the solution. Now is the perfect time to get your carpets, rugs, and upholstery cleaned as it extends the freshness and life. AccuClean is a veteran-owned and local carpet cleaning company located in the Midlands for over 20 years. Be sure to give us a call at AccuClean today at 803-957-1202 to make sure your carpets are refreshed approaching this season. That's AccuClean at 803-957-1202. We'll see you soon.
Struggling to find a fun spot for Fido when vacation calls? Say bon voyage to your worries with a pause paradise. Whether it's for a weekend getaway or a full holiday escapade, your furry friend will be wagging with excitement. Daily doggy daycare or extended stays, we make every moment a tail-wagging adventure. Discover more at apawsparadise.com or fetch us a call at 551-0323. It's not just a stay, it's a holiday for your pooch.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
New fears about the health of the economy trigger big losses on Wall Street. The Dow lost 410 points. The S&P 500 fell 95, their worst weekly losses since March of 2023. Losing 437 points, NASDAQ recorded its largest percentage loss since January of 2022. The lackluster jobs report didn't help. The Labor Department reporting a gain of 142,000 jobs in August, fewer than analysts projected, and then there were the tech stocks. NVIDIA dropped 14%, losing $406 billion in market capitalization. Dow Jones market data says that's the biggest market value loss ever from a single company. Broadcom dropped 10% after lowering its revenue forecast. Troubled retailer Big Lots preparing a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. Bloomberg reports it could be filed as early as this weekend. And that's your Fox Business Reports. I'm Jack Callahan. Invested in you.
Interesting people are talking to Will Kane.
I said, what do I call you? I call you Dwayne. I call you The Rock. He said, now that I own it, I can call you The Rock.
Yes, I own it now. You can call me The Rock.
Our next guest needs no introduction. It is Dr. Jordan Peters, my old friend and frenemy, Stephen A. Smith.
What is going on here? I see the Will Kane show in the background. I see the microphone.
Watch it live at noon Eastern, Monday through Thursday on FoxNews.com. And get the podcast 5 days a week at FoxNewsPodcasts.com or wherever you download your...
Someone will be right with you. Please continue to hold.
Okay, we're back. High school football scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union on this Friday night. Hope you've had a wonderful night watching high school football across the state of South Carolina. Chesterfield has beaten Lee Central 34-33, and it is a final. Andrews over Carvers Bay 34-6. Timberland, let's make that Woodland over Bethune-Bowman 42-0. Keenan shuts out Battery Creek 26-0. And another final, Wilson-Elko 38, Calhoun Falls Charter 0. We got David Shelton with us now. David in the Low Country watching Somerville and Berkeley tonight. David, welcome in. How'd your game go tonight?
It went just like every other Friday night where the game lasts 3 hours. And it seems like every game I pick, it goes 3 hours. I got to pick a game that can go 2.5 hours and I can get out of there by 10 o'clock, but it doesn't happen. But only because teams with 14-point leads are throwing the ball in the fourth quarter, trying to score more and stopping the clock. I think the new rule ought to be with the new age of football. Incomplete passes, the clock doesn't stop. Just keep
it running. Just keep it running.
That way people will think twice about throwing incomplete passes. But anyway, Somerville overcame a 21-10 deficit in the third quarter, and they rolled. Well, they didn't roll, but they won 41-35, and Berkeley scored on the last play of the game because they were trying to score, and I guess that's what you do when you have the ball. You try to score. But, Somerville had the game pretty much in control in the fourth quarter, and they started swapping touchdowns, and it did not it became more of a 7-on-7 game. And but Somerville, I tell you, Somerville was on the ropes. It was 21-10. Berkeley scored in 2 plays of the third quarter, first 2 plays of the third quarter, and went up 21-10. And I was like, wow, this could be something. And then Somerville went on. They got their offense going, and they got a lot of weapons, and they just started scoring every time they had the ball. And Berkeley's defense, which had played so much better. You got to remember, these two teams played twice last year, and Berkeley gave up 96 points to Somerville. So they played much, much better, especially in the first half. Big Key, 14-10 with 4 seconds left in the second quarter, right before half. Berkeley has the ball on the 1.5-yard line, 4th and goal. They chose not to kick a field goal and went for the touchdown and didn't score. Now, as the final score comes out, it was a 6-point game. Those 3 points would not have mattered, but had they gone up 17-10 and then came out in the third quarter and scored and went up 24-10, you're looking at a different ball game. So, gutsy call there. I know they're not totally enamored with their kicking situation. But I mean, it was literally an extra point, less than an extra point, and and it didn't work out for them.
Yeah. Somerville offensively tonight, a lot of points, as you mentioned. You said a variety of ways they scored. Primarily how? Through the air, on the ground, evenly split?
Well, Somerville's offense is very balanced. They can mix it up. Jaden Cummings is an outstanding quarterback, and he spreads it around to a lot of guys. Keyshawn Washington he's an enigma. I tell you, I was talking with Chris Deering tonight, and I was like, he might be the most underrated football player in South Carolina. This kid is 6 foot-ish, 215 pounds, lines up at H-back, slot, wide receiver, running back, wildcat quarterback. He runs a 4.31 40. He is the fastest football player on Somerville's roster, and they got some dudes. And he had a good game tonight. The running back, Javen Williams, is a sophomore, had a good game. So they primarily they kind of dink and dunk you, and then they hit you a big one. And with Berkeley had their best game in 2 years of running the football. They ran the ball very well against Somerville, and their quarterback Rivers threw 4 touchdown passes maybe. So they did plenty offensively. They just could not stop the bleeding in that third and fourth quarter. It just got away from them.
Yeah. All right, David, stand by. We got a lot of folks waiting to give us reports from games and take your comments on some of these games. So let's get back to reporters out in the fields tonight. We appreciate all you guys standing by for us. We go to Doug Holliday. Doug Holliday tonight. Lawrence did not go well for the Raiders tonight, Doug. Bit of a blowout, I guess, is the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, it got out of hand in the second half, Phil. I don't know how much you knew or how much Monty knew at the time reporting on the Clinton game last week, but Lawrence first and second string quarterbacks went down last week and were not available tonight. We saw a senior who has never started before take some snaps. A lot of wildcat, a lot of different combinations. Very creative game plan by the offensive coaches, and it was only 21-6 at the end of the first half. Could have been 21-10, kind of hanging in there with them, but just ran out of gas there in that second half. The big story tonight, Marquez Henderson, the Clemson commit, the great BHP running back, needed 150 yards to become the all-time leading rusher at BHP. He got 214. And, I mean, to me, I grew up in this area. I'm from Anderson. Anytime you're the all-time leading anything at BHP, you're a heck of a football player. And this kid is all he's made out to be. Outstanding night. And, again, it was 21-6 at the half, wound up 55-6 in the end. Again, just one of those seasons where we're shorthanded in a lot of areas personnel-wise, and they did a good job of staying in the game as long as you could. But hats off to BHP. I know they're 3A, but if there's a better team in any classification, I'd like to see them. They're a heck of a football team.
Well, you mentioned Henderson. Clemson recruited him. Well, maybe he's an athlete, but he could end up playing either receiver or safety over there. What's Lawrence going to do about the quarterback situation? Are the guys who got hurt, are they going to be coming back?
We should possibly have the backup quarterback who's pretty good, possibly back next week. The other quarterback, the starter, the transfer from Hillcrest, Thompson, hopefully will be back after our open date, which is we got AC Flora in Columbia next Friday night, then an open date, and then Lexington comes to Lawrence the next week. Hopefully, possibly, he could be back for that Lexington game. But that's a unique trip for us next week. The game I'd pay big money to see is going to be up here. BHP goes to Anderson and takes on Westside next Friday night. That will be a heck of a football game.
Yeah, Westside hammered TL Hanna tonight. Waiting to get a report on that. Doug, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you. Okay, let's get the story on that Newberry-Clinton game tonight, and it was the Red Devils getting the better of the Bulldogs. First loss of the year for Newberry, and Hugh Gray joining us with the story on that one. Thank you very much, Hugh. Welcome in.
Thanks, Phil. Monty gave me permission to call in so that he could drive home with both hands on the wheel. So, so it was the battle for the belt tonight at Mike Ware Field, and Newberry Clinton takes the opening kickoff, and with the help of about a 30-yard, maybe a little bit more, scamper by Javen Cook, they got into the red zone, but then missed a field goal. Newberry then takes the ball 82 yards for a score, making it 7-0. In the second quarter, after some back and forth, late second quarter actually, with 54 seconds to go in the half, Clinton pushes across the goal line, misses the extra point. The score is 7-6 at the half. Pretty tight game. In the third quarter, Javen Cook breaks open again for another long run, this time almost 50 yards. Big score. Missed the PAT again. It's 12-7 Clinton. Ensuing kickoff, Caleb Levy takes it at about his own 14, crosses the field, turns on the speed, and goes the rest of the way for an 86-yard touchdown. Extra point was good there for Newberry. Newberry's up 14-12. But after that, Clinton offense kind of takes over. Just strong work by the offensive line, strong work by the running backs. Javen Cook, y'all were talking about an underrated player a minute ago. This guy is young, and he doesn't come down the first time he's contacted. So he's underrated, I think, as well. Just put on a show tonight several times, several runs for more than 30 yards. In fact, in the second half, Clinton outgained Newberry by 150 yards. So the final, as you said, 23-14 Clinton.
Hugh, thanks very much. We appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Okay. Thanks, Phil.
Hugh Gray, story there on the Clinton win over Newberry's, jumping in for Monty Dutton. Monty ordinarily likes to talk about the Clinton victories. David, what do you make of Newberry had the 2-0 start? They run up against a really good Clinton team. Clinton now's won its last two, so it seems to be getting things together and shifting into high gear, we could say.
Yeah, they're going to be there in the end. I picked them to win the 2A state championship. So I think they'll continue to get it together if they can stay injury free. I don't think they'll be underdogs in any game the rest of the way. Now maybe you could flip a coin with some of them, but I don't think they'll be underdogs. And I think if they just stay healthy, I think they're going to have a great shot to win it all.
How about Newberry? The way they played to this point. I mean, tough loss for them tonight. It's always a rivalry game, but what do you see for them down the road after this?
Yeah, honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm a little surprised at how competitive the game was. Just hearing the report and seeing some stuff on Twitter, they gave themselves a chance. They, 14-12, they're leading. So they're obviously much improved football team. They've struggled the last couple of years. But this is not a win, and, moral victories don't count in the win-loss column, but to play Clinton this competitively with a chance, I think it bodes well for them.
Okay, let's work in one more quick report before the break. We go to Smitty, Matt Smith, the voice of the Socastee Braves, the program that produced Hunter Renfrow, NFL star, Clemson star, and got a win tonight, Smitty. Big night for the Braves. Hello,
There's
Smitty.
not a lot of hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay, good. There's not a lot of cell signal outside of Bucksport, South Carolina. So you may lose me, and I'm low on gas. If you do lose me, come look for me in the light near Plantersville. But David Shelton would have enjoyed our game tonight between Socastee and Ainer, because with the way the Blue Jackets run the football, we were out of there by 10 o'clock. But Socastee beat Ainer at its own game tonight, winning 23-8. Christian Royals got his first win as a Socastee quarterback and only completed one pass, because Socastee really ran the football and tried to control the clock in this one. And, of course, as everybody knows, with that Ainer-style offense, the possessions are simply precious. The game really turned on a goal line stand to close the first half. Socastee was leading 7-0, and Coach Allen opted to call his final timeout with 27 seconds left, third down and goal, and he called two plays from the sideline, and it was 4th and goal from the 3. Ainer got to the 1 and ran one more play and were stopped cold, meaning they were shut out in the first half, giving Socastee all the momentum in the second half. And Amari Godfrey was the player of the game. 8 carries, 121 yards. So Socastee picks up their first win of the season. Next week they are on the road at Stratford, and then they've got a bye week before facing Loris, one of the feel-good stories here in the Horry County area. So the story tonight, though, Amari Godfrey, try to remember that name. Didn't get a lot of carries, but he sure had a lot of productivity. 8 carries, 121 yards. Socastee goes to 1-2 on the season, and Ainer takes a loss, and they've got a little work to do on defense after they got a win last week over St. James, 51-37, but gave up 37 points last week and gave up 23. Couldn't really stop Socastee late in this one.
And your first win, Smitty, as the voice of the Braves, so congratulations to you. Go pop a bottle of champagne.
Absolutely. My role in this was yelling to the coaches above us, "Run Godfrey again! Run Godfrey again!"
Well, don't run out of gas, because, we've got no way to help you. Though David could drive up from Charleston and maybe find you walking on Highway 17. Thank you. Have a great trip to Clemson tomorrow. Enjoy the ball game.
Yep, going to enjoy that one. App State and Clemson. Everybody follow along at sportstalksc.com.
Okay, thank you very much. Matt Smith, story on the Socastee win. David, nice win for the Braves. They get one on the left side of the column.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, this Ainer team's, kind of rebuilding a little bit, but I think any other year, I mean, I would have picked Ainer to win this game tonight, so it's sort of an upset. But Socastee, could have a tough time next week against Stratford, but they are playing a team next week that has struggled a little bit defensively. So if they can continue to run the football and give themselves a chance, we'll see.
Okay. Stand by, David. More from you and more from guys with reports. We have got Will Johnson standing by and Thomas Grant and Justin Mathis. So all you guys hang on. Got to run to a break here on the high school scoreboard. We'll come back and squeeze in as many reports as we can before we hit the top of the hour. Then we'll roll it across the top of the hour, come back with more reports, update more scores as well. You're listening to South Carolina's only statewide high school football scoreboard for like 30-something years, maybe even 40 years. Can't even remember how long we've been doing this. A long time. Since David Shelton had hair, that's how long we've been doing this. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler-Brown. Helping an aging loved one arrange for their care can be one of the most difficult things you will ever do. Fortunately, you don't have to navigate this maze alone. Lawyer Lisa's knowledgeable life care team can lead you down the right path. Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Set your youth up for a lifetime of financial success with Smart Start from Founders Federal Credit Union. Smart Start products and educational resources help teach kids and teens the basics of saving, budgeting, and smart spending. Help them learn smart money skills to jumpstart their financial journey with Smart Start savings, debit, certificates, and educational resources. Learn more at foundersfcu.com/smartstart. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. One of the big scores of the night, if you haven't heard it already, was in the upstate tonight. West Side blowing out crosstown rival TL Hanna, and that final score was in the 50s for West Side, 56-20. 56-20, West Side over TL Hanna. Get a report on that coming up. Let's go to, where did we leave off? Will Johnson joining us with the report tonight on who you got tonight, Will.
Yes, Phil. Orangeburg, Wilkinson, and Airport. What a smash mouth football game this was. I think this one was the game of the night. And my Orangeburg, Wilkinson Bruins, much like Barnwell, moved to 3-0 on the season with a 14-9 win up in West Columbia. And our next game, we head down Highway 301 for the Battle of Orangeburg County against those Edisto Cougars. That game will be on Saturday night. And speaking of Orangeburg, go Bulldogs beat Citadel, go Gamecocks, beat Kentucky, go Clemson, bring it home against Appalachian State. And, oh, yeah, go Green Bay Packers. Let's get another win over those Cowboys.
All right. Thank you, Will. OW off to a 3-0 start. That's great. Thomas Grant joining us now from Prep Red Zone. And he was at that Barnwell-Bamberg-Earhart game tonight. And nice win for Barnwell. Tough ball game, though, wasn't it, Thomas? 21-7 the final, but pretty competitive all the way through.
Well, it was a rainy game. I mean, it basically rained from the opening kickoff. I mean, and that was we played a factor, particularly with Bamberg. where it was you have Chanson Crosby, the North Carolina Central commit, where there were at least 3 or 4 touchdowns, and Coach Crosby talked about it afterwards that they had that the receivers just dropped, and a lot of it was because they had difficulty dealing with trying to catch in the rain. And for the most part, in the first half, this was a game where Barnwell was able to first make that adjustment on the ground. We had Cameron Austin, who's headed to USC on a baseball scholarship. He was able to lead them on an opening drive, score on a 1-yard touchdown. Then Bamberg came back just before in the second quarter, where the only score of the game came on a 46-yard touchdown pass from Crosby to Raheem Walker. It left it tied at the half. Going into the second half, for the most part, on Barnwell's first series, Cameron Austin breaks free for a 41-yard run. On the play, he was down for a few minutes. It looked like he may have hurt his knee. He ended up leaving the game, so they ended up giving the ball. From that point on, for the most part, they kept the ball on the ground using their huge offensive line. They have a guy on there, Tony Cherry, who's 6'4", about 245 pounds. And they were able to basically dominate from that point on, just keeping the ball on the ground, going to a jumbo coverage, having 2 tight ends, line up for just basically the whole line had about at least 9 players on there just blocking the way. And they were able to get the go-ahead touchdown from Jaquan Peoples, and then on the final drive, they were able to get a touchdown where he was basically he got the ball 6 straight times and ended up finishing off the drive on a 6-yard run to make it 21-7. But the most part, credit-wise, was Barnwell's defense that was able to keep containment in terms of slowing down Bamberg's running game, and even when Kansas had guys open, and when they weren't able to catch the ball, the defensive backs out there really did a good job defending the pass. So you now have Barnwell now at 3-0.
Oops. I think Thomas just was eaten by the cell monster there. Thomas, thank you very much. We've lost you, but thank you for the update on that. And, yeah, we're going to let Thomas go because I think we got a bad cell. Thank you, Thomas. Hey, David, Barnwell, I was told by a friend of mine from that area that they're looking at going to a consolidated county high school in a few years. There's talk about that. Could you see that happening?
Yeah, I could see it happening. I don't know if the people will go for it, but, it's probably something that's needed. I think some people over in that area see what Hampton County has become when Wade Hampton combined with Estill, and some of these communities that have a couple of high schools that are within range of each other. Why not?
Yeah, I hear you. I just know what the high schools mean to these small communities, man. And when you take their high schools away, they kind of dry up. I mean, right? Go through Marlboro County and take a look at Clio and Wallace and McCall and Blenheim. I mean, the schools were everything in those towns.
Yeah, for a while, but it's been that's been 40 years, 30 something years. Those towns were deteriorating when they folded. They didn't fold because the high school left. I can tell you that. They folded because of a whole lot of other stuff.
All right, hang on. We'll be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Tasha Stevens. A judge postpones former President Trump's sentencing.
Manhattan Judge Juan Merchan has delayed the sentencing until November 26th, 3 weeks after the presidential election. Sentencing had been scheduled for September 18th, 7 weeks before the election. The delay means the election will be decided without voters knowing if the Republican nominee is going to jail. Defense lawyers push for the delay, arguing that punishing the former president in the thick of his campaign would amount to election interference. Judge Merchan says he issued the delay so it won't affect the election. He's also weighing a defense request to overturn the verdict on immunity grounds. I'm Mike Hemp.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney says he'll vote for Kamala Harris over former President Trump. The former VP and career politician said Trump, quote, can never be trusted with power again, end quote. Former President Trump responded by saying both Dick and his daughter Liz Cheney are irrelevant and Republican in name only, also referred to as rhinos among true conservatives. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wins his appeal to remove his name from ballots in North Carolina and Michigan. The former presidential candidate sued to remove the name after he backed former President Trump. Verizon is buying Frontier Communications in a $20 billion deal.
Verizon Communications says the transaction will also help it in the area of artificial intelligence. Frontier has concentrated heavily on its fiber network capabilities over the last 4 years, investing $4.1 billion upgrading and expanding its fiber network. It now gets more than half of its revenue from fiber products.
Correspondent Jeremy House reporting. More on these stories at townhall.com.
In theaters now, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world, and we have just forgotten it.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Reagan, in theaters now, rated PG-13.
Hi, Eric here with Ultimate Tax Group. If you owe back taxes to the IRS or state, personal or business, my team and I want to help you take your freedom back. Call Ultimate Tax Group at 888-505-1099. We will stop or prevent bank levies or wage garnishments. We care and fight for our clients. Call us today, 888-505-1099, ultimatetaxgroup.com.
A rare copy of the Constitution from the 1700s is being auctioned.
The document was found inside a filing cabinet at a property once owned by a former North Carolina governor. The copy was made after the Congress, under the Articles of Confederation, approved the new Constitution in 1787. Secretary Charles Thompson signed 2 copies for each of the 13 states and sent them away. Only 8 are known to exist. The copy is being sold September 28th by Brunk Auctions in Asheville, and it's the only known privately held copy. I'm Haya Panjwani.
Brazilian musician Sergio Mendes has died at the age of 83. TMZ reports he died in Los Angeles. He's known for his collaborations with Herb Alpert and Cannonball Adderley. He had a huge hit in 1983 with Never Gonna Let You Go. News and analysis at townhall.com.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. Please press button now. I said to, genius.
It's a Friday night of high school football across South Carolina, and this is the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard with Phil Kornblut and David Shelton. We've got you covered with all the scores from tonight, plus game reports and coaches' interviews. The High School Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Let's go to the Scoreboard Studios in Columbia. Here's Phil Kornblut.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High School Football Scoreboard. Friday night across South Carolina. We're not actually in South Carolina tonight. We're in Kentucky. Be at the South Carolina-Kentucky game tomorrow. Looking forward to that tomorrow afternoon. We do have David Shelton and John Patrick Barry back in South Carolina. David is in the Low Country at his comfortable surroundings in the Low Country, and JP's at the studio in Columbia. Okay, before we get back to reporters out in the fields, hang on. We're going to run through the scoreboard here real quick. Got a lot of finals. Got most of the state in. Just a few that we're trying to fill in as we go here. And so let's hit these scores up and get David to comment on some of these results. Beginning in the upstate, Batesburg-Leesville beat Abbeville, David, 37-35. What does that mean? Hello, David. JP, we have David. While we wait on David. Oh, there you go. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you asked what that means, and I just said that it meant that I was right, because I said on Sports Talk tonight that I thought Batesburg-Leesville was going to give Abbeville a quality opponent. It's a long-standing rivalry, a beautiful setting. This is not the end of the world for Abbeville, and this does not make Batesburg-Leesville a state championship contender. You got to win a bunch of games. But I talked to someone who scrimmaged, who saw Batesburg-Leesville in the preseason, and they said, no, they're legit. They're pretty dang good. And they certainly had Jamie Nichols' attention, and so it's not a fluke. I'm sure they played well, and that's why they won.
South Point big over Ballantine Ridge of North Carolina, 63-0. Belton Honeypath 55, Lawrence 6, Blacksburg 48, Cherryville of North Carolina 12. Spartanburg beat Broome 47-6. Boiling Springs 52, Chapman 7, Chesney 25, Walhalla 13, Catawba Ridge 21, Chester 14, Clover 48, Palisades of North Carolina 12, Blythewood 23, Fort Mill 7. David, how about this one? Gaffney beat Greenville High 54-14.
Yeah, this Greenville team we talked about on Sports Talk, they're going to be okay at some point, but they've had a tough early schedule, and they lost a lot of great talent from that team last year. And Gaffney is one of the best teams in South Carolina, bar none. So, that was a tough challenge for Greenville going in anyway.
How good do you think that Gaffney quarterback is, committed to Arkansas, young guy, and you know much about him?
Just seen him on the huddle, and I know he looks like a big-time quarterback. I can tell you that. He's built, he's got the size and moves around really well and got a great arm. So looks like he is the real deal.
Okay. Great Falls beat Allendale Fairfax 14-6. Dorman knocks off Greenwood on the road tonight, bouncing back from their loss last week. Cavaliers win it 20-14. Details on that coming up. I tell you what, while we're talking about it, let's get Justin Mathis on the line with us, who was part of the broadcast crew for Dorman tonight from WQUL up in the upstate, up in the Spartanburg-Woodruff area. And Justin, welcome in. Heck of a win tonight on the road for Dorman.
Yeah, absolutely it was, Bill. I mean, just from the jump, it just had a different vibe than it has the past couple of weeks. And I think it starts with the Cavalier defense. They really set the tone. I mean, they didn't give up any points until about 1:10 to play in the ball game when Greenwood cut it to 6 points. But, I mean, McCorian Anderson, sophomore quarterback, his second varsity start this year, I mean, did a good job of being the field general, guiding the Dorman offense. And here he had 98 yards passing, threw a touchdown pass to TJ Gasaway, how that play set up. Dorman picked off a Greenwood pass right at the midfield stripe. Then on the very next play, threw it to Gasaway, who split two defenders and took it 48 yards to the house. That put the Cavaliers up 10-0. Greenwood cut it to 10-7 on the first series of the second half. Just a little screen pass, and the defensive lineman Griffin jumped in the way and ran it in for 3 yards out. But, I mean, a lot of credit. Also, Renson Farr hit 2 field goals, including a 41-yarder They made it 20-7 Cavaliers early in the fourth quarter. But I mean, tip your hat to the Cavalier defense. They came to play tonight. They were led by the likes of Drew Darby with 9 tackles, including 2 sacks and half a tackle for loss, and Jordan Darby, no relation, with 8 tackles. So I mean, all around effort from the Cavaliers gets them to 2-1 heading into their off week.
Well, and a good bounce-back win for them, and you're right. They got that good feeling now as they work for a couple of weeks before their next game. Justin, thank you very much, sir. Talk to you, well, if I don't talk to you next week, we'll talk to you the week after.
You'll hear from me next week. I think you know me well enough. I can't stay away from a game somewhere.
You got it, brother. Look forward to hearing from you. We appreciate it. Yep. All right, Dorman wins at Greenwood 20-14. Greenwood Christian 42-0 over Eau Claire. Hillcrest beat Greer 28-21. David, how about this one? JL Mann 28, Daniel 23.
Wow, that's a lot less scoring than I thought. I thought both teams would get to the 40s, but Daniel won their opener last week, but they gave up 35 points in a win over Stratford. So I'm sure they're still trying to piece things together. But this JL Man team's not taking their time. They're playing at a high level very very early on in the season.
Now they've done a great job turning that program around. Does this not correct me here? Does this not snap some sort of long winning streak for Daniel?
Yes, in the regular season. Yeah, I'm trying to think what it is. I saw it last week when they beat Stratford. I can't remember, but it was a long winning streak.
Yeah. As I recall, they hadn't lost a regular season game in maybe 2 or 3 years. Okay, Rock Hill beat Lancaster 32-23. Landrum 54, Ware Shoals 26, Louisville 54, Atlantic Collegiate nothing. Pickens 38, Liberty 34. Fountain Inn 12, Malden 3. River Bluff 35, Nation Ford 30. Blackville Hilda 34, 96-29. How about this one, David? Northwestern, boy, they look great in the first 3 weeks of the season. 48-7 over South Florence.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that Northwestern was going to win the game, and I thought they would win it impressively. With South Florence has got some guys out. Northwestern is still stinging from that loss 2 years ago in the state finals, when you could say that South Florence may have run the score up there at the end, throwing touchdown passes with a comfortable lead, and I don't think Paige Wofford ever forgot that. And so I'm sure the Trojans put a lot of mental energy into this game, and you're right, they're good. So if a good team plays well, they're going to beat a lot of people.
All right, Blue Ridge, a winner over Polk County, North Carolina, 42-36. Riverside tops Christ Church 37-20. We talked about that one. Christ Church is having on Sports Talk. Christ Church is having their problems here early in the season.
Yeah, they lost some really good guys, but I mean they returned some good ones on offense, but defensively they're just really struggling early on, and they're I think what are they playing 3A up from 1A, so they're 0-3. Now they've lost to some good teams. It's not like they're losing to bad teams, but they'll figure it out. It's why we play 10 regular season games.
Yep. Seneca 42-3 over West Oak. Dixie 3-0 defeat Southside. They came from behind. They were a couple of touchdowns down, come from behind and beat Southside 37-36. Dixie getting it going. Southside Christian 42-28 over the Anderson Cavaliers. Mountain View defeats St. Joseph's 48-21. JP gives a shout out to his mom who works at Mountain View. Shout out, Mom. Westside 56-20 over Hannah. Palmetto 31, Travelers Rest nothing. York 49, Union County 14. Easley 41, Wade Hampton 14. Washington Wilkes of Georgia 35, McCormick 16, Woodmont 34, Pendleton 19, Woodruff big over Emerald 42-0, Wren 34, Powdersville 7. Our upstate board is complete except for Berea and Carolina. Looking for that. Before we go to the break, Richard Sally is standing by to give us a report from a game tonight. So let's welcome him in to the high school scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Richard, welcome in, sir. What game were you working tonight?
Phil, I had the Orangeburg Prep Thomas Hayward game here in Orangeburg, and not a great showing by the OP Indians as Thomas Hayward took care of business, shutting out the Indians 39-0. It was a Nicholas Robinson and Tony O'Bonner show. Robinson ran for 4 touchdowns of 9, 4, 4, and 7 yards. O'Bonner ran touchdowns of 1 and 4 yards. O'Bonner came into the game averaging 175 yards rushing. He's a quarterback/running back, 210, 6-foot junior that is a man-child out there, and the Indians had no answers for him. The Thomas Hayward defense pitched their second shutout in a row. Very athletic, strong, big, well-coached defense. For a 1A Skeezer team, you'd have to go well up into the 3As to find a team that can play with these guys. They look like they're ready to take on all comers.
Well, I can remember, a few decades ago, Thomas Hayward was the team in Skeezer. Nobody could touch him. You feel like they're kind of getting back to that level with this team?
Well, they've always been, hard hitters and real, a tackling team. But this year, they look unstoppable. They go to 3-0. Not sure who their next outing is. Orangeburg Prep falls to 1-2. They begin region play next week home against Clarendon Hall. So hopefully we can get things squared away.
Thank you, sir. Richard, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. There you go. Thomas Hayward with that win tonight as we go to the break. Thomas Hayward with the victory over OP, 39-0. Give you some other Skeezer finals while we're talking. Colleton Prep 25, Andrew Jackson Academy 8, Buford Academy 26, Patrick Henry 23, Wilson Hall 21, Ben Lippen 7, Bethesda 12, John Paul II 3, PD 44, Christian Academy 7, Cathedral 58, Cross Schools 8, Hammond 27, Porter Goud 15. Back in a moment.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef, it's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know it's possible to avoid probate court after you die, regardless of what you own? Why put your loved ones through a long, stressful public process when there are better options for your family? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Founders Federal Credit Union believes in empowering future generations, helping to provide our youth a smart start as they begin their financial journey. Discover Smart Start by Founders. Start off with Smart Start savings with a low minimum balance of just $5. Teach responsible spending with a free debit card, text alerts, and no minimum balance. Jumpstart a lifetime of saving and investing with a Smart Start 12-month certificate featuring flexible deposits. Start with just $100 and add more deposits at any time. Finally, dive in deeper with fun educational resources. Founders is excited to team up with you with resources and support to give our youth a smart start towards a brighter tomorrow. Learn more at foundersfcu.com/smartstart. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Back we are on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblut here in Kentucky, David Shelton down the Charleston area, and JP back at our studios in Columbia. Got an update, a different score, a different final now on that Woodruff Emerald game, David. We got a updated final of 62-35, Woodruff over Emerald. This is what we've got now, 62-35. Told that Woodruff did not punt the entire game. So I'm imagining that means they scored on practically every possession. So they've got it going big offensively again this year.
Yeah, they're gonna be a handful for people offensively. They've got to shore up some things defensively, but as we talked about since week 0, they're going to find ways to score points. They've got some talent.
All right, to the Midlands. As you heard earlier, Orangeburg-Wilkinson beat Airport 14-9. Branchville 42, American Leadership 13. Indianland 39, Andrew Jackson 21. Barnwell 21, Bamberg Earhart 7. White Knoll 49, Brooklyn Casey 19. David, Camden beat Hartsville. Long rivalry game here. 22-14, Bulldogs over the Red Foxes. Your take on that one at Kemp Stadium. I'm sorry, Zemp Stadium.
Yep. I knew it would be close. I bet it was a lot of fun to watch. And, good win for them. Doesn't mean a whole lot other than beating your rival, but, both teams can win a lot of games going forward.
North Central beat Columbia 33-8. Crestwood 47-0 over Kingstree. Still looking for Denmark, Oler, and Burke. So anybody with the Denmark, Oler, Burke score, feel free to call it into us, 888-898-2525. You can give the score to JP. He'll be happy to take it from you. According to Twitter and ScoreStream, we have a final here of Edisto 8 and Calhoun County 4. 8-4. I don't know. That sounds not plausible, does it?
Yeah, I mean, you could get 2 safeties or hit a grand slam. So, one or the other.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But that's the score we've got right now. And I guess we'll just roll with that until we hear otherwise. Of course, we did have a score last week of who was it? Somebody beat Travelers Rest 131-0 or something.
They won 130-something to nothing, but that was far from the right score.
Yeah, very, very, very far, very far. Fairfield Central 52, C.A. Johnson 0. Fox Creek 44, Glen Mills of Georgia 6. Highlands Tech of North Carolina, an 8-7 winner over Buford. Irmo over Butler of North Carolina, 36-34. Game apparently ended on a fumbled snap by Butler, and I guess Irmo recovered, David. That's a huge win for them. If my information is right, that Butler team in North Carolina is pretty good.
Absolutely, and that's just another case of Santa Lafra football taking it to the Tar Heel stage.
There you go. By the way, Ron from Greenville called us to tell us that Daniel had a 46 straight game winning streak, had not lost since 2022. So 46 game winning streak.
That's a lot.
Is what we're told. 46 in a row.
We were talking earlier about Abbeville, Batesburg, Leesville. Going into tonight, the series between the two programs, Batesburg had won 26, Abbeville had won 25, and there was one tie. So that shows you how competitive this thing is.
Absolutely. All right, other finals, Keenan 26, Battery Creek nothing. Dreer 21, Lakewood 13. Lower Richland 46, Colleton County 20. Mid Carolina 28, Whitmire nothing. Lexington 25, Midland Valley 14. Clinton 23, Newberry 14. Richland Northeast 25, Westwood nothing. R&E looks like the real deal, a real threat with their quarterback and their overall team.
Well, they're definitely going to be a threat to score on anybody they play. Now, they do give up some points and some yards, and at some point, if a team shuts them down, they're going to have a problem. But right now, nobody's shutting them down, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. We got to go to more scores. And it was Dutch Fork big over Ridgeview, 38-0. Hampton County, 14-7 over Silver Bluff. You mentioned how the consolidation has worked out great in making that one school in Hampton County. They're very good. The Hurricanes of Hampton County, they have an excellent football team, David.
Yeah, they've got good athletes. They're well coached. They're ranked number one right now in AA. I don't have them as the best team in AA, but I have them as probably the best team in the lower state in AA. So they're going to be around. They're going to be there in the end. They were, they had that great running back last year, but they were far from a one-man team. They had a lot of good players.
North Augusta over South Aiken, 33-21. Chapin, 49. Spring Valley, 14. Sumter beat Myrtle Beach, 42-25. I think Myrtle Beach is winless. What's going on with those guys?
No, I don't think they're winless.
Did they win their
first game?
Okay. Well, then they're 1-2.
Yeah, it's early.
Okay. You're not concerned about this. You're not concerned about the Seahawks.
No, not at all.
How good is Sumter?
Very good. Very good. They had that big come-from-behind win against White Knoll last week, which raised a lot of eyebrows because White Knoll was dominating the football game. So Sumter is Sumter. The thing about Sumter is they got to do it in the playoffs. They have these great regular seasons. They win 9, 10 games. They go in the playoffs, get to the second or third round, and they get swallowed up. They need to take that next step.
Yeah, you're right. Myrtle Beach beat Lake City back week 0, or maybe it was even that Thursday night, 21-6. And then they lost to West Florence, 33-22, and they lose tonight to Sumter, 42-25. And Wagner Sally, 14, Swansea, nothing. Williston Elko, 38, Calhoun Falls, nothing. Okay, got more reporters standing by. Let's go to Travis Jenkins, who watched the Great Falls Allendale Fairfax game tonight. I don't know. I have a little bit of sympathy for you there, Travis, but it's high school football. I know you love it. Welcome in.
Yeah, it was a tough night, Phil. The concession stand ran out of Chick-fil-A sandwiches at halftime, so we had a lot to overcome. And Bull Peanut. So where do you turn,
Yeah. Tell us about the Great Falls victory there.
Yep. Coach Sabell Newton gets his first win as a head coach, I believe. And Great Falls gets their first one of the year, 14-6. Scored on their opening drive. Tremaine Caldwell threw a 31-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Sanders. And it was 6-0 at halftime. Great Falls had a couple of good drives early, kind of short-circuited with a couple of bad snaps, some lost yardage plays and penalties and stuff. Allendale really didn't get anything going offensively until their last drive of the first half, and they threw a pick on the final play. But first play of the second half, they run like a little sweep to Kamari Kelly, I believe is his name. Goes 65 for a touchdown. It's 6-6. Late into the fourth quarter, Great Falls puts together a nice drive. Caldwell gets a 31-yard completion, and then on 4th and goal with 48 seconds left, throws a nice little touchdown on the fade to Jalen Sanders.
Hang on, Travis.
Good, and they win.
We got to hit a break. Be right back.
This is Ian with AccuClean. Regular carpet, rug, and upholstery cleaning isn't just about keeping them looking beautiful and smelling fresh. It can also help to extend their life, which in turn saves money in the long run. Check out AccuClean today for our other services, such as mattress sanitation, odor and enzyme treatments, and leather cleaning and conditioning. Call AccuClean today at 803-957-1202 for all your carpet cleaning needs and more. Once again, that's AccuClean at 803-957-1202. I'll see you soon.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
Answering the call. Running in when everything you feel says run out. Pushing yourself beyond your known limits to help. Living to tell the story. Visit scvolunteerfire.org.
With SRN News, I'm Tasha Stevens. A man is under arrest in Canada accused of planning a terror attack in New York City. According to investigators, the Pakistani citizen living in Canada planned on carrying out a mass shooting at a Jewish center in Brooklyn and, quote, slaughter as many Jewish people as possible, end quote. They say he chose a date around October 7th, which is the date that Hamas launched their wide-scale terror attack in Israel last year. The FBI said they learned about the terror plot after he started posting on social media. California Governor Gavin Newsom vetoes a bill that would allow illegal immigrants to apply for first-time homebuyer assistance. Under Assembly Bill 1840, the California Housing Finance Authority's program would have be prohibited from disqualifying applicants based on their immigration status. This is SRN News.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with the point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Biana's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. We need a hashtag.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. I'm here to fill time because, as everyone knows, when a radio station has dead air, Daddy loses money. Albeit these guys are getting such a deal, Daddy's not losing that much money. So take that, Mr. No Raise in 48 years. Come on, press that button. Yo.
Okay, back for the high school scoreboard. Final half hour on a very busy Friday night. As we hit the break, we were getting the story from Travis Jenkins about Great Falls and Allendale Fairfax. And right as we hit the break, Travis was telling us how Great Falls was scoring, I believe right there at the end of the game to win that game tonight. I think we lost Travis when we hit the break up against the hard break there. But we appreciate him calling in and giving us the rundown on that.
So we've taken you through the Midlands, around the PD and the Grand Strand tonight. Socastee beat Aner 23-8. Huff of North Carolina over Carolina Forest 41-0. Andrews 34, Carver's Bay 6. Conway beat Cheraw 20-16. Lugoff Elgin 35, Darlington. Lugoff Elgin 35, Darlington 18. Okay. East Clarendon 36, Hardyville 7. Johnsonville 24, Georgetown 21. Mullins 30, Greensea Floyd's 6. It was Central 40, Lamar 38. Chesterfield 34, Lee Central 33. Loris 55, South Columbus of North Carolina 6. McBee 28, Latta 7. Tough loss for the Vikings, driving as time ran out. Marlboro County 40, Scotland County, North Carolina 28. Lucy Beckham 48, St. James 17. West Brunswick of North Carolina 32. North Myrtle Beach 27. West Florence 47, Marion nothing. And Dillon shut out Wilson 22-0. Willie Johnson has called us again. He's got another score for us that we did not have earlier. Denmark, Olar, and Burke. What you got, Willie?
Well, Denmark Olar in a cakewalk over the Burke Bulldogs by the score of 38-2. I caught my good friend Clarence Jones, who does the game down in Denmark, but you know, it was no brainer for the Vikings at Denmark Olar. And speaking of football, I need to ask you this question: how do you run out of Chick-fil-A sandwiches?
I guess you don't bring enough to the ballpark. Only thing I can think of, you just don't bring enough. Of course, you have to understand Travis's sense of humor there. I think maybe he was making a funny because, you know, I was pointing out that it wasn't exactly a game that was expected to be very exciting, but it actually turned out to be an exciting game. But, Willie, thanks for that update.
Yes,
so Denmark Olar wins over Burke 38-2, correct? Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to the Low Country. Let's welcome in, once again, Max Araj joining us tonight. We appreciate it very much. And Max is with locosports.com. They keep a close watch on what's happening around the Low Country, in particular over there in the Beaufort and Hilton Head and Ridgeland areas. Appreciate that very much. And thank you for joining us once again, and fill us in on what you've got tonight, Max, on some of your top scores.
Yeah, absolutely. I was out at the Whale Branch game tonight. They were taking on Ridgeland High School. Whale Branch had a 14-0 lead going into halftime, and then just pulled away in the end. They'd end up winning 35-12 over Ridgeland High School. You guys mentioned East Clarendon winning 36-7 over Hardyville. Actually, close game at halftime. It was only a touchdown difference, a 14-7 game between East Clarendon and Hardyville. Hardyville fought in there for the first half, but the talent for East Clarendon was just too much for Hardyville to handle, as they, of course, ended up winning 36-7. The game that surprised, I think, a lot of us, well, actually, there were two games, but the first one was Philip Simmons, taking on Beaufort. We thought Beaufort was our favorites in that Region 6 4A. Philip Simmons would get the win over Beaufort in stunning fashion, 31-20. Hilton had Aiken visiting over at the Nest, which is what it's called over on Hilton Head High School. Hilton Head would dominate over Aiken 45-0. Really good showing for Hilton Head High School as they continue to have a good season so far. May River has been absolutely on fire as of late. They remain undefeated as they took on Lake City tonight, winning 41-6. The score that surprised us all, Bluffton High School, which I mentioned last week as a team we all were really hopeful for. They took on Savannah Country Day south of the border in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah Country Day would absolutely run over Bluffton. Really surprising 44-16 win for Savannah Country Day. Cullinan County seems that they can't find a win just yet as they lost to Lower Richland 46-20. Battery Creek could not keep their winning streak going. They would lose to Keenan 26-0. You guys mentioned Hampton County and Silver Bluff. Great game there. Hampton County pulls out the win 14-7. And then on the Skeeza side of things, the other game I went to tonight was Buford Academy taking on Patrick Henry, and one absolutely amazing game it was. Buford Academy would win by 25-23 over Patrick Henry. So that region for Skeeza 1A is very competitive and extremely exciting to watch. And another one of those 1A teams, Thomas Hayward, would continue their dominance. They played Orangeburg Prep tonight and would win 39-0. Tony O'Banner and Nick Robinson continued to dominate on the running side of things for Thomas Hayward. And then Carlton Prep would get back on the win column as they would beat Andrew Jackson Academy 25-8. And those are all the scores I have for tonight's matchups. And you can definitely watch our show, the Loco Sports Pigskin Live, every Friday night. And we'll keep you in touch through everything going on here in the Southern Low Country. And then be sure to tune in on Monday night as we recap all the football games on the Loco Sports Lowdown.
Max, we can't thank you enough. Great hearing from you. We'll look for you next Friday night. That's a great help to us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you guys next Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, Max Araj from Low Country Sports and Loco Sports, locosports.com, and appreciate them joining us every Friday night and filling us in on some of the scores that we might not have. So I think we have covered pretty much everything. Let me go through the other. No, I did not do the Low Country page, David, so let me go through that, the ones that he did not touch on. Academic Magnet beat Stall 9-7. Ashley Ridge 56, Wando 17. You mentioned earlier that the game you were at, Somerville 41, Berkeley 35, First Baptist 64, St. John's nothing. How about Fort Dorchester beating Stratford 26-24? Did that go right down to the end, or did Fort D have to hold on?
Yeah, they had to hold on because they had a double-digit lead there in the second half, like a 10-point lead. And, Stratford has not played good defensively all year. They played much better tonight. And Fort just keeps winning close games. I mean, they won a 1-point game. They won by 1 score over Buford. They beat Goose Creek by 1 point, and they win tonight by 2 points. But you got to win those close ones to be a good team.
Yep. Bishop England beat Hanahan 24-14. Hilton Head, as we just heard, 45-0 over Aiken. James Island had their defense cranked up tonight, David, beating Goose Creek 10-7.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be a low-scoring game. I thought, both offenses are struggling just a bit, and they both have pretty good defenses this year. James Island's defense is a legit 5A defense. So, scoring 10 points was enough. That's pretty good in high school football.
May River defeated Lake City 41-6. Philip Simmons over Beaufort 31-20. Savannah Christian, as you heard, over Oceanside Collegiate 44-20. Savannah Country Day over Bluffton 44-16. Timberland 43, Cross 14, Well Branch 36, Ridgeland 12, Woodland 42, and Bethune-Bowman nothing. So we're missing Baptist Hill, North Charleston, and Military Magnet and Palmetto Christian. Trying to fill out that low country sheet. And some other Skeezas scores that we haven't touched on this time around. Wilson Hall beat Ben Lippin 21-7. Bethesda over John Paul II 12-3. It was PD Academy defeating Christian Academy 44-7. Cathedral Academy 58, Cross Schools 8. Hammond 27, Porter Goud 15. Jefferson Davis 66, Conway Christian nothing. Northwood Academy 42, Lawrence Manning 6. Thomas Hayward 39, OP nothing, as we heard earlier. Richard Wynn 57, WW King 6. Pinewood Prep 43, Trinity Collegiate 32. All right, there you go. Let's hit our last break, and we'll come back and chop it up with David a little bit, maybe ring up a coach. The Packers and Eagles, 34-29, 5 seconds to go. Packers have the football. Their quarterback, Jordan Love, just got hurt. on a scramble play. He did walk off, but he was limping. And they also lost an offensive lineman on that play. So last chance coming up on this play for the Packers. We'll be back.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
Set your youth up for a lifetime of financial success with Smart Start from Founders Federal Credit Union. Smart Start products and educational resources help teach kids and teens the basics of saving, budgeting, and smart spending. Help them learn smart money skills to jumpstart their financial journey with Smart Start savings, debit, certificates, and educational resources. Learn more at foundersfcu.com/smartstart. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Touchstone Energy Cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Okay, the NFL game tonight in Brazil is over. Eagles win it over the Packers, 34-29. It's a terrible football game. Terrible. I mean, it hurts that being a Packers fan, it hurts that they lose. But first of all, I don't know what it was, cleat-wise or what. They were slipping from the first play to the last play. I mean, both teams having a hard time on that turf. And then it was a very sloppy game both ways. And I think what you see here is the result of none of these guys having played in the preseason and, many newcomers both ways trying to get used to one another. But Eagles win it 34-29. Jordan Love, they had a shot of him on the sideline sitting on the bench. He was not being tended to, so I'm taking that as a sign that he's okay. But he had to come off the field after being tended to 2 plays from the end. So Eagles win it 34-29. Hate it when the Packers lose, David. Puts me in a very, very bad mood.
Love it when the Packers lose. Puts me in a great, great mood.
Well, who's your team?
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
So the only thing worse than the Packers losing tonight is that the Eagles won. I mean, if they both could lose, I hope the Brazilian president doesn't let the planes leave. I hope they have to stay in Brazil.
I think I am, I'm an owner of the Packers. I have one share. So I'm going to let them know that I am forbidding them, because 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, the Packers played in London against the Giants, got beat. Aaron Rodgers gets hurts his foot, breaks a bone in his leg or his foot, like on the last play of the game. So that cost us the season, okay? He tried to come back and almost got us in the playoffs, but that cost us the season. Now, I don't know what the deal is with Love, if he got hurt or if he's okay. But we need to stay off of foreign soil. Play in America.
I think all teams should. I don't have a major problem with playing in England, London, and I thought the football game, the college game in Ireland, Florida State, Georgia Tech, I thought that was pretty cool. But Brazil has about as much in common with American football as I do chemistry and science. It's just not like, why do you want to go to Brazil and play an American football game? That's a soccer. They call football, and I just don't understand. It's broaden appeal. Yeah, but you're only playing there one time. These people are going to forget who even played tomorrow.
They're showing love walking off the field to the locker room. He's got his arms draped over his teammate, running back Jacobs, and looks like a trainer or manager. But he is walking. He's walking fine. But scary moment there for Packer fans, holding your breath. If he goes down, they are cooked. They are soup. They are done. They did acquire, I think it's Malik Willis, right before the end of training camp. They acquired him, and they cut Sean Clifford, who looked like he was going to be their backup, but they acquired Willis, and he came in and played the last couple of plays. Didn't have a chance. Anyway, hate to lose the opener, but that's okay. Got a long way to go to the Super Bowl if you're a Packer fan. Okay, David. So we are pretty much complete with all our scores, except for that Berea and Carolina game and that Scotts Branch Hemingway game, which is kind of a rivalry game, isn't it? Scotts Branch and Hemingway.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, both programs are in dire straits right now, but I mean, the proximity of the two communities, it would be a rivalry game. But even with there might have been 200 people there, I bet.
Well, I'm scanning all my sources here, TV outlets, newspaper outlets, everything I can to try to find. Yeah, I like to complete the scoreboard. I like to have everything in if we can do it. So, give me 2 or 3 of the top highlights for you tonight from across the state with the final scores. What stood out to you?
I would say, I mean, it didn't shock me, but I thought Westside's performance tonight against a rival, Hannah, is going to bring it all they can. They apparently dominated that football game from start to finish. So I thought that was impressive. I thought Northwestern beating South Florence the way they beat them handily, I thought that was pretty good. And, you know, I mean, I watched Somerville pretty much have their way with South Florence last week, and they were trailing 21-10, and I was very interested to see how, you know, I even wrote in my story, championship teams find a way to win games like this. When they're down in the second half, they got to get stops, which they did. They got to score, which they did. They won the game 41-35. You know, they did it in a variety of ways. And I tell you, the Somerville defense is I still have some questions. They didn't tackle very well tonight. Berkeley ran the football, I would guess, over 200 yards on them, and Berkeley's strength is not running the football.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, but still, I mean, in a big rivalry game, in a little bit of a rain on the road, you know, that's a solid win. I mean, Berkeley's going to be a team that's going to be in the Division II playoffs and make some noise. So, I mean, it was a quality win, but not necessarily, you know, had they went in and won the game 41-6 and not been challenged, I would not be feeling it. I just thought that they showed a little bit of character tonight, because that game was definitely flipping Berkeley's way in momentum.
Well, I mean, you know, before they get into region play, it's good to have a character test, right? And so they probably look at that tonight as a character test, and they passed it from a Somerville standpoint, so they have to feel good about that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're going to they'll be favored in just about every game they'll play the rest of the year. So, and they were favored tonight. I think I picked in to pay for a 4-point game, and I was pretty close. But it wasn't the way that I thought it was going to go. I didn't think Somerville was going to have to come from 2 touchdowns behind. But, yeah, I mean, these kind of wins help build that character later on in the season. Beating Stahl 69-0 does nothing for a football team. But, you know, they got Fort Dorchester. They got Ashley Ridge. They got an off week next week, and then Chapin comes to Somerville. Chapin's got a pretty good offensive team, so they'll challenge Somerville's defense. So, yeah, you gotta win games like this in order to build that confidence. Like, a coach can point back in the playoffs. You're down 10 at halftime, and you can go, "Hey, remember Berkeley? We've been here, we've done this, we know how to handle it." Whereas if they lose this game tonight, the players in their mind are going to be like, "Oh, I remember Berkeley. Yeah, we didn't win that game."
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah. Thanks to Ron in the Upstate. He has given us that Berea Carolina score to complete our Upstate sheet, and Berea beat Carolina 14-0. So everything is in from the Upstate. I tell you, I can't get over it. I guess the game statewide that really stands out to me would be the way Westside beat TL Hanna, and the way this Westside program has just taken off over the last couple of years. And, I mean, not only are they a power in their own class, they may be as good as anybody in the state right now.
Oh, without a doubt. And I've said this for the 30 years that we've been together on this show. When you have a QB, you can win a lot of games. They have got a QB, and they've been able to get receivers. They have the right coach, Brian Lane, who is a let's throw it around the yard type of coach. They lost good receivers. They got good ones coming back. I think they had a transfer or two come in. Because in today's football, if you're a receiver somewhere near Anderson, South Carolina, and you see Connor Woods over there, you're going to be like, man, if I go over there, I'm going to catch 50, 60, 70 balls. And that's what's happening. And they're going to be tough. I mean, they're going to be tough. I'm not saying they're unbeatable, but you better be whoever beats them is going to have to score some points, because you're just not going to shut them down. Northwestern kind of reminds me the same way. I just don't think, Northwestern's got a great quarterback as well, and I just don't see any team and if they turn the ball over, maybe, but I don't see Northwestern being held to 21 points. I think they're going to find a way to score touchdowns, and you got to score with them, and that's how Westside is. If Westside next week scores 14 points, I'll eat my hat, but I just don't think that. Without turnovers or a major injury, God forbid, I just don't see how somebody's going to just shut them down. I just can't see it.
Well, when you look at things from a statewide perspective, you see Summerville emerging. You see, as I mentioned, Westside. You see Northwestern certainly emerging. South Point is still very, very strong. You consider them among the best statewide. Gaffney, you put them in that category. Despite the loss tonight, Abbeville, you still have to respect them and figure they're going to be there at the very end of the season.
Well, yeah, because the team that beat them is pretty darn good. Abbeville needs this. The big thing about Abbeville now is, if I'm not mistaken, they have back-to-back bye weeks because they had an opponent cancel in 2 weeks. They have next week bye week, and then they couldn't find a game. So now this loss got to sit with them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, before they can get a chance to avenge it. So whoever that team is in 3 weeks, I wouldn't want to be on the other end, that's for sure.
Yeah. Let's don't forget Dutch Fork. Make sure we include them in that group of elite around the state here early on. David, thank you. Have a great weekend.
Hey, man.
Thank you, J.P. Barry. Great job. Thanks to all you reporters, players, coaches, and families. Have a great night. See you next week.